I guess I'm gonna kind of just start treating these like journal entries, I guess. I'm not sure. But like the video says, I gotta start living instead of just kind of existing on the day to day. With having quit my job and having some time to think and kind of reflect on what I think is important and everything like that, I find myself kind of going back to how I used to feel when I was a bit younger, before I started kind of pulling the full time and then some hours, and how I used to view money and work and living and everything kind of all together. Uh, I want to travel and see new things and new people, and try new food and experience things I wouldn't have otherwise, just sitting kind of cooped up in my room playing video games and enjoying my time at home. I've gotten into this kind of mental routine where I might like kind of game or watch some videos and study material for something that I'm trying to learn on my own. And then I get super hyper fixated and I'll kind of burn out, find myself retreating kind of into my bed or just into kind of a state of almost doing nothing so I can try to recover my energy, so to speak. And I really want to break these kind of cycles that I've kind of built for myself, honestly. But I want to do it in a healthy way. I want to start being a bit more active, and I want to spend less time, staring at my screens all the time. Even though I love gaming and I love hanging out with my friends online, or watching videos on YouTube or whatever. I don't know. I watched a video recently from a creator. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he said that he like earns the time for the things that he loves by doing things that he know will benefit him, either like his mind or his body or his finances positively. And I kind of like that idea. I like the idea of having to earn yourself the things that you love, so it stops feeling like it's part of a routine, and you really thoroughly enjoy it when you sit down to do it. As I'm getting older, I guess I'm starting to realize that I haven't done as much for myself as I like kind of set out to do. I'm not disappointed with the life that I've kind of led up to this point, and I don't think regret is the right feeling for things in the past, because I still have plenty of time to figure out what I want to do. I mean, some people don't figure out who they are or what they want until they're like 40, 50, sometimes when it's like already too late, right? So I don't regret the things that I've done because they made me the person who I am today, and I'm, for the most part, I guess, just proud of who I am today. I've gotten, through a lot of stuff, and tried my best to help people and be there for people. Even throughout all my flaws, I've tried to, be the best person, that I can be, basically. I do know that there's things, out there in life that I'd like to accomplish, if for nothing else, just for myself, you know what I mean? And just kind of as a personal thing like that I just want to do, just because I can. I'm a person, I'm a human being, I can, just like many others have. This is kind of, I guess, the living that I'm talking about instead of just existing, because like you can just work and do the day-to-day and do your whole life, and that'll be it, and some people will probably be happy with that. But I guess it's just, since I've been always a more artistic person, I really want to kind of stress that, I guess, in my life. I really want to express myself and try to help people best way I can, and just live among people, you know what I mean? I think I've spent a long time kind of cooped up. In my late teens and early 20s, I made music, and I did shows, and I even went to some like studios to see if I kind of liked that vibe and what I would think about doing that full time, or to take that passion to the next level. But I don't really know if it was for me. After so much time, I kind of started to see on a very, very, very low level kind of how the music industry worked, at least here in my, locally. And even, seeing interviews and people from the music industry, it just kind of made me think that I don't know if it was really something I was cut out for. think because it's something that I love, like I love music and I'm passionate about it, I'll always probably make music and tinker with sounds and words and try to incorporate it into my life somehow. But I didn't know if taking my hobby or something that I loved or was passionate about to that level was really for me. I love making and sharing that music, sure, but when I think about how my life would have turned out if I was to, keep sharing the more intimate parts of myself, I guess. Because I know some people just have music written for them and they perform it or whatever. Where I was, a bit more hands-on. I just made my music, about my life and stuff. And I don't know, I didn't always want to share that with everyone all the time. And to kind of make a living from that, at some point I feel like probably would have felt disingenuous, because if you have nothing going on in your life or whatever, you gotta like make stuff up or make things happen, I guess, and that kind of, I don't know, because I guess when I was making music, it was more so just to express how I felt. I was coming into my early 20s and stuff, and going through deaths in my family and jobs and bills and everything kind of getting a little bit more serious, I guess. So I don't know, it was kind of, I felt like I expressed what I needed to plenty of people, and people told me that they related to me or whatever the case is. So I felt fulfilled in that way. I didn't necessarily think I needed to take it to the next level. Anyways, I guess I kind of just enjoy my privacy to a certain degree, and being, in the spotlight or something like that kind of defeats that whole idea. I guess as does any kind of widespread attention. It doesn't have to be from music. You could be, I don't want to say necessarily famous, but well-known or famous, sure, for anything. And, you'll still have that happen to you. It's just, the society that we live in, right? And I was kind of looking for some quotes for this video, and I found one from Robert Frost, a poet from the old times. But basically the quote is, "How many things would you attempt if you knew you could not fail?" Basically just saying, like, if you still could have that childlike wonder, or you don't have that fear of failing, or you don't have that fear of society pressure or anything like that, how many things would you just try and try and try? And I want to go back to that, you know what I mean? Like, the lack of fear and just failing freely just because, because I can. I think society has put so much pressure on all of us to be a certain person or a certain way, or act this way in this or that situation. But we as humans were never given like true guidelines, you know what I mean? There's always been examples for people to draw upon in the past and to iterate upon. But I feel like it's people that always kind of break the mold in whatever they really love, which is how we get artists and lawyers and doctors, basketball players, or bums, or smart people, clueless people, or I guess everything in between. Like, that's why there's so many different types of people, and not just one kind of person. People were trying, or they didn't fail, or they were set up not to fail, or whatever the case is. That's why we have so many kinds of people. And I don't want to necessarily break any of the systems that we have in place already, but I sure wouldn't mind carving out my own little slice, into the world that I'm a part of. I don't want to get in anyone's way, but I just want to fucking live. Like, I guess I'm just tired of sitting and staring at my screen. I just don't know where to go. I got to get money together and bills paid, but I just want to live, I just want to live. I want to try all the things. If it interests me or I think it could be fun, I need to get better at just trying it and, kind of seeing what happens, whether or not I'm good at it or if people see value in it. I think if I enjoy it, that's worth a whole lot more than anything else. I just want to live. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people probably have the same sentiment that are around my age, that are kind of just going to work and doing the same thing day to day. And I don't know, we definitely can. I just think we got to break out of the cycle a little bit and find a way to live freely, however we'd like, I guess, is the biggest thing. But I hope, if you're looking for your thing, I hope you find it. If you found your thing, I hope, I hope it keeps being awesome for you, or whatever the case is, And if you're living, or if you're just existing, or whatever, I hope everyone kind of, I hope everyone can just live their, not necessarily their dream life. I guess that's not necessarily idealistic, but just live a life that is fulfilling to them, and that, that they, when the end comes for them, they feel fulfilled, and they had a good time, or they made improvements to their life, or others, or were helpful or hurtful, or, whatever, I guess. I think I just want to live again. That's it. You guys, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. If you made it this far, I hope you achieve your goals and everything. I kind of kept mine fairly loose. I didn't really, I'm not setting too many crazy goals. I'm just trying to figure out what goals I do want to set. But learning is always good and always fun. And the challenge is always good. And it's good to pat yourself on the back for the things that you accomplish. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.